It's happy hour again from the Collins Hotel in Uptown, New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. We're at the Collins Hotel, which is on St. Charles Avenue. A great place to come and stay if you're coming to New Orleans, and a great place to come and have a drink if you're here already. As our guests are doing around the table, this is happy hour. In the next 60 minutes, you'll get to meet just 3 of the many thousands of fascinating people who live in New Orleans, and you'll get to hear some live music at the end of the show. You might conclude New Orleans is a great city where people love to talk, have fun, and enjoy great music, but you probably know that already, and that's why you're listening. So let's get right on with doing nothing but enjoying the next 60 minutes of happy hour together with my special guests, Rabbi Yonah Schiller, who's the executive director and campus rabbi at Tulane University's Hillel Foundation. Hi, Yonah.
How you doing?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good.
All right. My other guest over here is Andrew Ward, who's the founder and chairman of the board of the International High School. He's also a ghost tour guide. He's the high priest of the running of the bulls, and he's the MC at the Big Easy Roller Girls, where he's known as Reverend Psych Ward. Welcome, Reverend.
Thank you very kindly. Good
so we have a rabbi and a reverend
Amen,
already.
brother. Amen.
And we have a wonderful, talented, I guess you would call you a folk singer or a rock singer?
How about just songwriter, singer?
Singer-songwriter Lynn Drury.
And I like to do it all.
Yes? Okay. You were named as the best emerging singer-songwriter in 2004. Since then, you've emerged.
And then I merged.
And you have a new album out called Sugar on the Floor, which we're going to hear some
do.
songs from later. And on the piano, as always, the lovely, talented, and charming Mitch Foreman. Hi, Mitch.
Hey, how's it going?
Very well. How are you doing?
Excellent.
We're off to a great start. We're off to a great start with hardly any mistakes at all so far. Mitch, what's been going on over there? What have you been up to this week since I saw you last?
I've been up to my usual. I do a little TV show writing.
Yes.
And,
what TV shows are you working on this week?
I was working on the exciting Dr. Phil show.
Well, how's that working for you?
Dr.
It's
Phil.
going well, Dr. Phil. We're very tight, very close.
Yeah. You never met him, right?
No, I never.
Just sending the music.
Send in the music and wait for the money to come.
I was going to say, did you write his jokes? But
No.
Does he? Does he have any jokes?
Make jokes?
I don't know.
Do you watch Dr. Phil?
I was not thinking music. I'm sorry.
No, Mitch writes his music. What sort of music do you write for him, Mitch? Actually.
You know what? It's like the background music, and I write for this one company, and he writes for about 4 or 5 shows.
What is the soundtrack of menopause? You know, I'd really love to find out.
You know what? I don't have to make those decisions. Someone else may. I just send them the music, and if it's menopausal, they pick the perfect piece for that.
Hey, how do you get to be a rabbi anyway? That's
You know,
that was a segue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil's a rabbi.
I'm interested.
Dr. Phil is not a rabbi, is he?
No, he's not a rabbi.
Nor
He's
is he
not
really
even a
doctor.
doctor, probably.
I think he's the
Though he plays
anti-doctor
one on
rabbi.
TV.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you study a long time and you sit and you get fat and old. That's usually how
You're
you
not
do
doing
it.
very good on the
fat,
fat
no,
part.
and
I
you're
know,
very young as
I'm
well.
not. I'm just throwing people off. I know it's
It's radio.
It's
so,
radio.
you know,
Radio, so I can say anything.
You are incredibly fat, actually. I noticed.
No, it's a long, lengthy process. But to be honest, I had never really sought out to do that. It just sort of happened.
Why did you set out to be an artist?
What did you say?
Did you set out to be an artist, a painter?
No, I am an artist. Did you know that though?
Yes,
Oh,
I
I
did.
didn't even know that. That's interesting.
It's on the internet.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I've been Googled. So, it's I am an artist also, and I did that while I was doing my rabbinic stuff in Jerusalem, while I was also watching bombs being blown up. It was very...
But you also started as a hippie, a brown, did you not?
Jeez. I mean...
Good work, Andrew.
What's it
Wow.
This guy's
God,
a
I didn't
reverend.
Google anybody here. Okay, yeah, I also played soccer, brown, and I did courses I did my stuff at RISD, Rhode Island School of Design, and also I became a rabbi somewhere along the way.
You've done a lot of stuff already.
Yeah.
Which was the biggest mistake?
The biggest mistake was going to Southeast Asia with an ex-girlfriend to see if that would work out, and it didn't work out in the first 3 days.
And so he turned to God.
You grew up in India,
Right,
I believe. Psych
And actually right next door to Israel and Egypt. I spent 5 years there.
Oh,
Which
wow.
in India or Israel or Egypt?
Well, 5 years in Egypt and 4 years in India.
Well, that's interesting.
I certainly thought so, but dengue is
Dengue
interesting
was
but
the
awful.
highlight. Was it the highlight, the dengue fever? We've got a lot of stuff to get to here.
Yeah.
Well, let's just...
Lynn,
The
have
whole
you had
time
any...
not drinking the water.
No, did you
No,
get
don't
any
you-
recent infections, Lynn?
So,
Or mosquitoes.
did you Google...
No, I'm
did
healthy
you
as a
Google-
horse.
Did you Google Lynn, Andrew? Where did she grow up?
I don't know, but I've been trying for the last 6 years.
You do know, right?
A little less illustrious past, but I'm from Mississippi. So
Oh, how
Where?
dull.
I was born in Yazoo City, Mississippi.
Oh, that's
in the
pretty
Delta,
cool.
And I grew up about an hour from here in Carrier, Mississippi. And I went to the University of Southern Mississippi.
You haven't been to Egypt, India, but you did go to Italy.
But I lived
Italy.
almost 2 years in Italy in 2008 and 9.
Now, you went with a guy to Italy, right?
Yes, I
Like,
did.
like Yonah went with a girl to Asia. And
yeah,
how long did it take before you got
about
down
a year
your
and a
feet?
half, and then I still would go and visit, and then it was like, oh, right, 6 months from now I'm going to see you, and we're not together anymore, right? Right. So,
And he was Italian?
oh yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Did I was going.
It's all in the execution.
I was back there.
But it should be said, as we're talking about exes, I actually met my wife in Italy.
Oh.
Now, she's not Italian, but she's as awesome as any Italian could possibly
Oh, I like that story.
Can she cook Italian food?
be. She can cook, yes. She can cook Italian.
What was she doing in Italy?
We were both studying art. She was studying film, and I was studying painting.
And is she from the United States of America?
She's from Dallas.
No, it doesn't count then.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Now, you're still married, obviously.
I'm still married with three little children who are.
Oh, mazel tov.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Then Lynn's choking to death. What happened?
That's thumbs
That's
up.
2 thumbs up. Well, 3 thumbs up with one
Right.
for each child.
Sure. Right.
Two
It was
bo-
beautiful.
2
I like that
boys
he
and a
said
girl.
he's still yes.
2 girls and a boy.
Oh, it's close.
Yeah.
It was going to be one or the other, wasn't it?
Not
You were
necessarily.
married.
We have
Not
transsexuals in India. We have
I
heteros,
a long
so.
time ago, but I don't count it.
You don't count what? Sorry, I
I
wasn't
don't
paying
count
attention.
the time that I was married.
Oh, you were married?
Yes.
Sorry.
Are you a virgin?
For about a year. I was married for about a year before I realized well, actually when I said I will, which doesn't even,
I will.
I said I
That
you
was,
don't-
that
but if
was,
you-
I
I
think that
would
was a
have-
mistake, wasn't it?
What I was wondering is if
Say
you
I
don't,
do,
if you don't
Right.
count that, what else don't you count?
I don't know. Nothing.
Just that, just the marriage.
that. I don't count that. Like if someone
about
says, "Were you married?" I
birthdays?
go, "No." Well, I didn't get married in front of my family, so I don't count it.
Didn't
really-
whose family did you get married in front of?
His, but we eloped. We sort of just ran off and.
You eloped with his family.
Well, not really. Just his parents came. Whatever.
That's not eloping.
It's really.
It's not eloping if his parents come.
It's-
That's just not
it
inviting
sort of
your
is.
parents.
It
I think
sort of
that's just
is.
weird, actually.
We went on vacation. I came back married, and then I realized, how am I going to get out of this? Because I'm not. That,
Yeah, I've heard that story a lot.
How am I gonna
actually.
How am I gonna?
What
I
was
just
I
made a big
thinking?
mistake with a guy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a pretty big mistake. How old were you?
28.
Oh, that's unforgivable in that case, really, isn't it? Because that was just a couple of weeks ago then.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, good
Right.
one, good
Right.
one,
I
Grant.
just had my birthday gig at Le Bon Ton last Friday. 29 is amazing.
Yeah, you look great actually. You really do.
Fat.
The
and-
light.
You look great for
The lady-
50.
Like the fat old rabbi. Here,
This is the Christmas
Where'd you
tree.
get your rabbinic ordination?
So when did you come back from Italy?
Well, I moved back permanently in 2009.
2009. When did you come here, Yonah?
To New Orleans, I got here 3.5 years ago.
So that'll be 2008
Yeah.
or something.
I don't go by dates.
No, 3.5 though.
Yeah.
That's funny. People,
Summer.
It's like being a kid. When you ask them how old a kid is.
Yeah.
I'm 2.5.
Yeah.
So 3.5. How do you know? So when do you change it from 3.5 to 3 and 7 months?
I never do the months. I just do
You just
halves.
do the half.
Halves or
You just
wholes
do
or
like in
round.
increments
yeah.
of 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So in 6 months you'll be here for 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
And what about
It's
you,
newbie.
Andrew?
I moved here in 2004.
So you've been here for 12 years.
No,
No, that's not right.
Hold on, another drink and I'll agree with the math.
What are you drinking? You're drinking martinis.
I've switched now. Now I'm off to
That's
the
nice.
vodka soda cranberry.
Now
I've
you're going
decided.
from here, you said, to the ghost tour tonight.
That's right. We
Tell
have
us something about
obligations.
how you got to be a ghost tour
Oh,
guide.
absolutely dumb luck. They had a sick tour guide one day, and they found this dumb schlub who was doing his doctoral research in the historical archives, and they said, "Hey, do you mind coming out and telling some ghost stories?" And I said, "Sure." Sounds like a blast. And
Who was the person who invited you to do that?
it was the owner of Haunted History Tours, Sidney Smith, and he's been operating this magnificent tour behemoth for the last 17 years.
So you go around and you show. I mean, I've seen these. You guys seen these in the French Quarter, and you see these groups of tourists.
Well, you
and
guys
they're
should
walking-
come. You're welcome anytime.
I probably learn a lot.
Yeah. Do you have any ghosts at your house, Lynn?
No, but I've seen ghosts before.
It was her former in-laws
I think there was one in my house growing up.
You think there was?
in Mississippi.
Yeah,
or-
like
That
I
could have
think
been grandma.
There was one. Okay, there was one time. You can tell me if this is anything. I don't know. One time I was still at home. I was like 20. I hadn't moved out yet, and my parents. But 2 nights in a row, I had this sort of crazy nightmare sort of thing, where you know how in your head when your voice when you yawn that like like was overtook my whole, but it was black and there was nothing. But I swear to you, I was elevated out of my bed and I woke up and I had a digital clock and it was midnight on the dot. Next night,
What
same
time did you
thing.
go to
I woke
bed?
up midnight on the dot.
What time do you go to sleep?
Digital 12:00.
I thought you were some sort of rock and roll star. You were in bed at midnight?
This was before I did not pick up the guitar until I was 25 years old. Until I was graduating college.
Okay.
And then I just found my.
Well, this is a whole story we have to get to. But anyway, back to the ghost. So you woke
anyway,
up 2 nights in a row,
so-
levitated off the bed at midnight.
Is this in
What
the
we-
Delta or in Carrier?
This is in Carrier.
Were you in the bed or on the bed?
I was on the bed.
But you were in a dream. It was a dream?
It was more like a. No, not really. But it's been recurring over the years, but it stopped. It stopped, I think, like
After you
10
went
years
to a
ago.
psychiatrist.
About 8 years ago, it stopped. I haven't had it again. When I'm not suppressing things, I think that it doesn't come. But when I'm like suppressing things, it comes out in like a nightmare.
It doesn't necessarily
Anyway,
have
we
to
don't
be
have
a
to talk
ghost.
about this.
No, I think
we are now,
I think
though.
it's absolutely fascinating, and you get stories like this from all sorts of people all over the world. You know, it's talking about how something inside of them is trying to get out.
Yeah.
That's not an exterior ghost. That's your own will trying to express itself.
Yeah.
And
You're-
it gave you this, sequential sequence by saying,
Like, hey, you better-
you got to reset your clock because it's just blinking 12 o'clock every
Right.
night.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice interpretation.
Sometimes it is literal,
Can our
Listen to
own
your
will make us
dreams.
levitate, though?
Absolutely.
Rabbi?
It was almost like
I never learned that.
They don't teach you that
They
in
don't teach
rabbi
that.
school?
That your own will can make you levitate?
See, now the rabbi's lying back in his chair,
Yeah,
holding
he's
onto
got
the
it.
microphone
He's
like
got it
some
under
sort of
control
like
there.
Resting
what's
it on my stomach.
portly belly.
Distinguished. His distinguished guy.
It's too much effort to sit up at the table, Rabbi.
It's more
You don't
comfortable.
Okay.
Is that okay?
No, it's fine. It just
Okay.
looks strange that
Like
there's
a-
holding a
it's
sort of a
Passover,
microphone
it's
stand.
reclining.
Reclining. Why is this night different from all other nights?
Exactly.
in a minute he's going to sing us a lounge tune. Hey.
That would be nice. Hey, maybe it's time for you to sing us a song. What do you think?
Is it?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's. Why not? And then we'll come back and talk about ghosts after that.
We
And
can talk
levitation.
about-
I just do want to know one thing before we leave this thing about ghosts, though, because you said you were lying on the bed. Don't you? You don't have any sheets. in
Because when
Carrie.
I woke up, I remember the sheet falling from. I remember it hanging, so I know that I was.
So you kicked the sheets off.
But I
and your
think
nightmare.
it was like something was trying to take my soul. That's what I think. But
It was your own soul getting out, Lynn. It was your own
was
soul
my own
trying to
soul
escape.
trying to
and you
escape.
let it. And right now you're going to give it vehicle. You're going to sing and you're going
Yes,
to...
yes. What am
I
I
will
gonna
say,
sing?
according to Jewish tradition, you actually any dream that you have an obligation to try to interpret it.
Okay.
So it's certainly not only does it mean something, you are obligated to figure out what it does mean.
I keep a dream journal. I have lots
Excellent.
of horrible nightmares. That
Focus on the good. Focus on the
Recorded
good.
for you guys.
There was another rabbi. Rabbi Elimelech said that the fastest way of direct communication to God is through song. So you now have this
Really?
opportunity to communicate with the big man upstairs.
Is it in the Bible, Rabbi, that says you have to interpret your dreams somewhere, or is it?
It's in
Later.
It's not. There's a lot of super commentary, but in the commentary, there's definitely a lot of thought given to dreams. And Joseph was one of the great dreamers of the Bible.
The Pharaoh.
And his interpretations, his dreams himself, ended up dictating the future of peoples and civilizations.
You really believe that?
I mean, that is the narrative in the Bible.
But do you believe that?
I believe dreams are very powerful, and they
I do.
often tell you something that can't be articulated when you're awake.
Agreed.
Agreed, Lynn?
I agree. I
Okay.
totally agree. Yes.
And the Pharaoh of Egypt agreed. That's why
I
he
think-
brought him in there and said, hey, I have these dreams. What do they mean?
I think if you live against what is in your heart, that your subconscious will be like, "Hey, knock, knock, knock. What are you doing? You're not going. You're not fulfilling your purpose."
It's 12 o'clock, woman. I'm going to make you levitate.
Well,
yeah,
here's-
wake up. What are you doing? Sort of.
What are you doing? What song?
What are?
Yeah.
Well, I need to grab
Yeah,
a pick
Okay.
somewhere. I have a pick.
We got to get a lounge song in Hebrew.
Do you do any lounge songs in Hebrew, Rabbi?
I
We're
don't.
filling in.
I'm not a
Mitch,
singer.
Mitch, can you play a little?
I can do just a vamp until we're ready, kind of thing.
Oh, Lord, you made many, many drunk people. I realize, of course, it's no shame to be drunk.
This is Andrew Wood,
But
by
it's
the way.
no
not
great
Reb-
honor
not
either.
Rabbi Schiller.
So what would have been so terrible if I had a small bit of sobriety? If I were a drunk man.
That's nice. Okay. Yes. Oh, microphone.
Back to our
Okay.
regular schedule.
Yes, back to our regular programming. Lynn Drury, a song off the new album.
Should I do
Sugar on
that?
the
I should do
Floor.
a song off the new album. Of course.
I think you
Of course.
should.
Hello. Let's see. Which one do you want to hear? I should know this. I should have this prepared.
Well, not really.
Let's see.
It's not
have it
like
warmed
anyone's
up.
listening.
Woo! All right. I guess maybe something upbeat, right?
Yes, something upbeat.
I let you get to me again, but I only hurt myself. And now all my energies are scattered all around. And I feel sorry for you. In my way, at least I showed you the truth. And I hope you never see what you lose. Just look away, in a way, I still want you. But I may never lay eyes on you. And I don't wanna see pictures of, 'cause I know that look. Yes, I know that look. You just spilled my love. I'm just your sugar on the floor. Sugar on the floor. Oh, sugar on the floor. Sugar on the floor. Ah, but I wish good things for you and for me too. Oh, oh, I'll let you get to me again, but I only hurt myself. And now all my energies are scattered all around, and I don't want to see pictures of, 'cause I know that look. Yes, I know that look. You just spilled my love. I'm just your sugar on the floor. Sugar on the floor. Oh, oh, oh. Sugar on the floor. Sugar on the floor. Oh, 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 oh.
The title song off the new album, Sugar on the
Thank
Floor. I
you.
wasn't expecting it to sound like that at all. Were you guys?
That was
No, that was magnificent.
Yeah, not that you weren't expecting it to sound magnificent, but I wasn't expecting it to be a song about you being sugar on the floor.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So is that a song about things that went horribly wrong and that you're mistreated by?
Yeah, speaking of Italy.
By the Italian guy. So you got your revenge on that guy. What's his name?
Roberto. Roberto is a great guitar player, Lutti.
This is Roberto Lutti, who's the guitar player who broke your heart and treated you like sugar on the floor.
Didn't really break my heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
He gave you a good song. That's great.
He gave me a few good songs.
A few good songs.
Yeah, it's all about the song. I don't really need the guy. I just need the song.
Well, you needed him to get the song, I suppose. You must have cared for him at one point a lot.
I do still, yes.
You still do care for him.
I still do care.
You seem, that song sounds like he hurt you.
Well, I don't know what I was going to say. Sorry.
Look at the three guys staring at you.
I'm feeling awkward.
I must realize my power in this world,
Yes.
in this life, and I haven't done that. So
You haven't realized your
I think
power.
I am very powerful, but I tend to let men take advantage of me.
I don't think that's that terribly uncommon, is it?
No, but how should I put that? Yes, I've been the object of.
How would you do it differently this time?
I think I take my time. I think now I'm older, so it doesn't. I'm not gonna. I'm the type of. I'm a Sagittarian too, so I just.
What does that mean?
So I tend to
Talented.
just jump in and like, hey, I just jump in with it.
That's
you
a
know.
Sagittarian
I like
thing.
you. You like me? Yes. We're gonna have fun. And then I've done that, for the past 15 years. I've
Right.
had like
Since you were 14?
yeah, right.
How
so
many
I've
guys
had,
did you go through?
I've had like four-year relationships that were significant in my life.
And they all started off fast.
Yeah.
And they all ended quickly, or they end badly?
Not all of them end. Well, yeah, they pretty much all ended badly.
Okay,
Did you get songs out of all of them? I mean, was there some sort of artistic redemption
course.
that came as a result?
The one love of my life that I didn't marry, he's got 2 records worth,
2 whole records worth.
Wow.
That's
Pretty much.
great.
Did he get a thank you note when you broke up? I mean, this is really
He
something.
doesn't
We
get
were in a band
10%.
together for 5 years, so
Okay. So
And,
he helped
and
craft
3
the songs.
yes, we were a team. Yeah, he was an arranger, I was a writer, so it was really great until you think about this. If you sleep with someone, you play the show that night, you wake up, you go have coffee, you're never ever separated. We're joined at the hip, so you burn up.
That's
There
like me
goes
and-
your
it's like-
time.
That's like me and Mitch.
So if you had spaced this out and only
fun.
saw each other maybe 3 times a week, maybe it would have lasted like 10 years. But
You
in
burnt
this
up all
case,
the. That's what I think about working out at the gym. Same thing. You only have a certain number of heartbeats. Why would you waste them all?
I like that.
Lifting weights. Do you go to the gym, Rabbi? You look very fit.
I don't. I did do my own thing at my home.
What do you do? Stress out, worry,
I do push-ups.
push-ups.
Oh,
Really?
yes.
How many can you do?
I do 150 push-ups. a day.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
are.
You lying.
All right,
Come
get
on.
down and give me 20 right now.
Yeah,
Come
right.
on now.
I want
do
to
a-
see that.
You do 150 push-ups.
Yeah.
Do you listen to
It's
inspirational music while that's happening? I mean, how do you make this?
No.
How do you summon from within?
And
150
I also
push-ups?
I do 2 other things. I jog on occasion. I also play on a soccer team.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, that would be more
Yeah.
explanatory as to why you look.
Well, you
so
mentioned
fit,
it earlier,
Rabbi.
like
didn't
playing
mean-
on a soccer team at Brown, but basically that means like drinking beer out of a cleat and smoking a lot of dope. I
No
also
comment, no
also
comment.
went to Brown.
did you really?
Yeah, for 1 semester. It
Oh,
was too
wow.
damn cold. I left.
Yeah.
You're like, I wonder if you were like one of these sort of psychologically weird people that just takes on the other person's pain. You had dengue
In fact,
fever.
I am a
and now
rabbi. Did you know that?
You had dengue fever. Now you went to Brown. as
That's
well.
right. I did.
Are you
It was
a-
wonderful.
Are you a
Do you know
are
my
you a-
wife, Allison?
Are you a rock singer?
That's my wife.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hey.
This is weird.
So you grew up in Varanasi, though, in India, which is
Partially,
the
yeah.
holiest part of India.
It was. I mean, this is a place where it's the largest pilgrimage site in the world. I mean, Jerusalem is 3rd, Mecca is 2nd, and Częstochowa, Poland, is an unlikely 5th, which is where I lived later, right before I came to New Orleans. And where
I tend to believe.
Hold on.
Rabbi, what-
Does that mean in terms of numbers of people who actually go to those places each
in the
year?
course of a year, yeah.
In the course of a
Really?
year, seeking some
And so-
religious or spiritual.
Exactly. So Varanasi,
What was the order again?
Varanasi,
Yeah.
Mecca, Jerusalem, Rome, Częstochowa.
Wow.
Wow.
What
Just
is-
I hope I've never heard of it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was gonna
Nobody's
be-
heard of it. Nobody's heard of
And
it.
that's
This is
people go there the most.
fifth most
What's
in the
there?
world.
What's
fifth
there?
The Black Madonna. There is this.
She just walked past right when you said that. Did you see that? Who was that?
Speaking, she shall manifest. So that's magnificent. Yeah, she was supposedly it was the table in Constantine's house, and a table in the Holy Family's house that was painted an image of the Madonna and Child by Constantine's mother Helen, and then it was brought to Częstochowa, central Poland, and it has been there ever since the 9th century.
That sounds like your dream when you just made that noise,
Oh,
Lynn.
yeah.
That sound that
Sound
you
like
get in
Italy.
Your,
I
yeah.
heard Italy in there.
It's like when you
Yes.
put a shell up to your ear and you can hear it.
Yeah, so get this, right? You see a bunch of people groveling around on the streets of Bourbon, in Bourbon Street in Mardi Gras, sort of going through the gutter and the bile, the slime, the urine, the beer, the beads.
What block are you on? I did
Any
think I saw
block.
that. Yes.
No, that's like any Tuesday night at the Boot, right, Rabbi?
Well, how do we get?
And
from
what you have them? What I'm
Częstochowa?
telling you is
Yes.
that you have these people in Częstochowa every August. They come and on their knees they ascend the Jasna Góra, the mountain of light, and they go all the way to the miraculous icon on their hands and knees, bloodied and beaten and battered, with flowers in their hair, and they go around the icon. They circumambulate on their knees 15 times. And they say their prayers and then they all go home.
Which religion is this?
This is supposedly Catholicism, but it's highly pagan. I love the Fagans. Pagans.
Wow.
The
The Fagans.
I love the Fagans too.
And what, is this some sort of sect?
I want to hear more about the Fagans, actually.
Yeah, is this some sort of sect of the Fagans that are doing this?
I have a friend, Jimmy Fagan. He breathes fire. Do you know him?
I do know Jimmy Fagan.
I love Jimmy Fagan.
Doesn't he also do massage?
Yes.
Yes, I know Jimmy Fagan.
Jimmy
he does,
Fagan does everything.
No, Jimmy Fagan is the massage the massage dude for the owner of Haunted History Tours.
Oh, he's awesome. He's been
Full
overnight.
circle wholeness, 1 degree of separation.
We lived in the same house. I lived downstairs. He lived upstairs in Broadmoor for 6 years. We were neighbors.
Did he get dengue?
I could ask him.
Did he break up with a man in Italy?
He collects
Men from Italy?
either banjos or swords. I can't remember. I think swords.
Why would you get those confused?
Stringed blades.
Right.
Why would Haunted History Tours have their own massage guy?
Oh, it's an extremely strenuous job. Right?
So back to the ghosts. Are there really ghosts in the French Quarter, or is the whole thing's a hoax?
Oh
right?
my God, it is. In fact,
a
you know,
hoax.
if,
It's a complete
if I may, I don't
Hoax
wanna-
or real?
No, it is in fact quite alarming. There is
Either way, that could go either way.
Right,
Alarmingly
still is-
false or
still
alarmingly true.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. I learned something just 2 weeks ago. McDonough 15.
Sorry, we don't have time. Right? Okay, yes.
Do you know the school McDonough 15? It's on the corner of St. Philip and Royal. It's a big red building.
Yes.
Elvis Presley filmed King Creole in it.
Yep.
Partially. And what I just learned is that in 1958, while he was filming it, there was this little boy on the 3rd floor, 5th grade math class, gets out of class because he says, I gotta pee. He rips out a shred of math homework.
Don't rip that up because I'm going to have to read that later. Okay, rip it up a little bit.
There you go. Good one.
And he goes running down over through the entourage, through the parking lot, up to Elvis Presley, and he waves around this piece of math homework, and he asks for an autograph. And Elvis is like, my God, who's this kid? How do you manage to get through all these people and up to me? He signs the autograph, pats him on his head, sends him on his way. When he gets back to the door, Elvis stands up on the bench. He says, hey, kid, you're going to be someone someday. And damned if he wasn't right. That piece of math homework is currently framed, hanging on the wall behind the desk in this man's office. When that kid grew to be an adult, he set into motion one of the most terrifying trends in all of American history. He was none other than Richard Simmons, sweating to the oldies. England, New Orleans. I'm a pony.
Okay.
You've got to be kidding me.
Terrified, aren't you?
Oh my God.
That's a great story.
That's a great
But
story.
Richard Simmons is not dead.
No, he's not
Right.
dead.
No.
He's not dead, but it is.
Elvis Presley is not dead.
well-
Oh, is he?
Well, it depends if you believe on,
I thought you were
reincarnation.
going to say something like, and if you watch the movie, you'll see this ghost of a kid. It wasn't a real kid that asked for the autograph.
How does that get into the ghost tour, and how much would I have had to pay to hear that?
I would say that if you came on any time, I can tell you that and much more. I mean, we have cross-dressers galore, and we have pirates, and we have dead monkeys and mules. And massacres.
Listen, I haven't had the question answered yet, but I don't really know if I
sorry.
want to. Are there any actual ghosts in the French Quarter?
I give you my word there are.
There are. You've seen them?
I've
Not
heard
exactly.
them.
You've heard them. Really?
And I've had people just pass out on my tour outright.
Well, that's not unthinkable.
Yeah, we leave the bar, and next thing you know, and I'll pass someone in. Down they go.
Hey, let's listen to a bit of jazz, Mitch. What do you say? And then I want to come back after Mitch Foreman's going to play us something, and then let's come and back and talk about the Jews.
Okay, I love talking about the Jews.
Let's do it.
I would like to do that too.
You'd love to do that.
Wow.
Don't hold back. That's the whole problem.
You know, the Jews are the new Elvis. That's actually true.
The
Jews are the new Elvis. There you go. Mitch.
All right, well, this song is a perfect transition between
The
Ghosts,
Jews and
Elvis, and the Jews.
All right.
Okay.
Nicely done.
And I just made it up right now, and it's called String Theory.
It's called what?
Sure.
String Theory.
String
String
theory.
theory.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Right on.
Mitchell Foreman and String Theory. Very nice. Did you just write that, really?
Well, it's based on a song called "I've Got the World on a String."
On a
and we've
string. String around my finger.
There you go.
Okay, very nice. So we said we were going to come back and talk about the Jews, and let's do it, Rabbi Schiller. So I was wondering what it's like being a rabbi in New Orleans.
You know, it's interesting. New Orleans is a crazy, crazy town, and it's my kind of town. I'm sort of not a typical rabbi, so it's like on some level I can't really speak for the world of rabbis, but I find New Orleans to be a very religious place, really, in the sense that when I think about religion, I think about people who are committed to something and idealistic, and in the end of the day are willing to sort of give up everything for the pursuit of something deep.
And what are we committed to pursuing here, apart from hedonism?
I think people are pursuing themselves. You know, there's a certain realness that you have in people here that I think is very cool and admirable and rare.
That's true. That's one of the things that attracts everyone to New Orleans, I think, how open and direct everybody is with each other. But I hadn't interpreted that up till this minute as a religious. It's an honesty. It's almost a secular thing rather than a religious thing.
I think honesty and religious life is the same damn thing, and I think a lot of the religious world has been kidnapped by people who are not so honest. But that, you know, that's a separate conversation.
Well, not really. We can have it now if you like. You mean people are in religion for the money or for some self-aggrandizement or something?
I just think, listen, I teach a Jewish mysticism class at Tulane, and I teach also another course about Judaism. And when I talk about religion with kids, none of these kids are religious. They say very deeply religious things and feel very far outside of the religious world. And that to me is bizarre, because if they're obviously connecting with something that feels inherently religious and deep, why is it they find themselves on the outside of some sort of,
Well, you
paradigm?
yourself didn't start out on the track to become a religious leader. I mean, you felt a connection to things, whether it was team sports or art, and then next thing you know, in world travel, and the next thing you know, you become a rabbi. So these kids are just in the nascent stages of the same process that you went on.
I agree. For me, it's disturbing that the orientation they have towards religion is not what they associate those feelings with, and that's a problem in religion, as far as I'm concerned.
Your interpretation of religion is not strictly orthodox, though, by the sound of it.
Well,
You've got sort of a wide definition here of what religion is.
Well, I think it's the beginning point of religion is a place of honesty and being true to yourself. And I think if you start there, then
it doesn't require a God, though.
I think that's true, but my first question would be like, what do you mean by God? Like, how you define God is really the beginning of that conversation, and it's not an easy one to define. Even
if we could define that, we wouldn't have to be sitting here.
Well, but
all over.
We'd already have ascended.
Exactly.
At 12 o'clock.
Right.
Maybe you're on your way, Lynn. Maybe you shouldn't have woken up. That was the mistake.
I think that the trees talked to me when I was a little kid, but hey, that's just
What makes
between
you think they didn't?
me and God, right?
And the trees.
Whatever I think of as God, but I grew up in Baptist church, and I saw firsthand, the hypocrisy, and so when my family didn't grow up in, my parents didn't take me to church. I just went because I wanted to sing in the youth choir, and so I had this horrible experience as a 16. I started at 10 years old. I would sing in church. My family wasn't there. I went to sing, and yes. I loved it, and I loved the youth group and the trips we all took and all that stuff.
What was the horrible experience?
Well, the youth director, when I became like 16, he was 29.
Italian?
He was 29, and he asked me. He asked me out, and so this sort of gossip thing. I didn't go out with him. I was 16. I graduated high school at 17, and then I went off to college, and I never went to church again, ever.
Because of the youth director?
The
choir
also
director.
Because
Skeevy.
of the small
Sketchy.
town church.
Gossiping.
The gossiping was that, everyone thought that I was going out with him.
How do they...
And
Why is that a bad thing, necessarily? Like, I mean,
she was 16. He was 29.
At least he asked.
It turns out that the guy...
whirlwind.
Was arrested later on. He had been kicked out of 9 churches. They did not ever do any, they didn't check him out.
Are you sure he wasn't Catholic? I mean, this is ridiculous. We see this all the time with little boys in Boston.
And then he started coaching junior high girls in Slidell, and then he finally got caught. And
I'm as a clergy person,
yes.
I ask you, I mean, why the religious affiliation with creeps and children? I mean, it's not only in one religion. I mean, what?
I don't think religion has a corner on creeps, but I think when they show up there, it's more creepy.
It's worse
you
because
because
religion is based. I mean, or at least the ideal of all spiritual pursuits is based on trust. It's trust that you are being honest with yourself, you're being honest with others, you're being honest with the Almighty, and vice versa. And so when here's a leader in that community and someone breaks that sacred contract of trust and does something to the most vulnerable of our people, which are the children, then it is absolutely unconscionable. And, I don't believe in hell, but sometimes I wish there was, so people who break that contract, like Jerry Falwell, could burn there forever.
So let me just ask you, do you think there are less creeps in summer camp?
Fewer creeps.
Fewer creeps.
I don't know about that.
Okay, tell us about summer camp in Yazoo.
The camp counselors. You just don't hear. You don't hear rings of camp counselors.
You're right. You do have
abusing
a point.
children.
That does happen, and it happens with Boy Scout troop leaders.
It does not, or it does.
It does. It absolutely does.
Yeah, but what you're saying, Rabbi, is that in most summer camps, you don't hear people coming back with wholesale stories of child
camps
abuse.
shutting down because of pervasive problems.
And that's the obvious place to do it because you're away from all controls and you've got these kids out in a cabin. Wow, I don't know why no one's thought of that.
I mean, I just wonder what is.
Look what you've just started.
I just don't know if I wonder if it doesn't seem to be a press thing. It seems to be something about the dynamic of maybe it's what you're talking about in terms of it's all based on trust, and so there's this opportunity to put it in a sick way.
And then there's power. There's power involved with the religious leader being over the children, and the parents trust implicitly this religious leader to be with their children.
But there's counselors, camp counselors have that.
Yeah, same thing. I guess it's just different when it's.
Let's just get back to reality for a moment here.
Why did
he ask you out, Lynn, and why not one of the other girls?
I don't know. maybe I was,
You're the best looking girl in Carrier?
maybe so. No, God, no. Well, it is a
Possible.
small. It is a small
town.
It is a small town.
Some of
Man,
those
gotta
country-
go to Carrier.
Those country girls aren't all that necessarily good looking.
That's
So,
true.
let's face it.
That's true, but then there's
Farmers, daughters.
Yes.
What did your parents do?
My mother was.
That's a tough question, I know. That
My mother was a homemaker, and my father. We had a lot of quarter horses that we trained, and I was in the rodeo, and so I was like.
Awesome.
So you're a real country girl.
Yeah, we competed, and my dad took us to the rodeos. I mean, I wasn't a kid that grew up in summer camp. I never went to. I don't know what that is. I never had been ever to a summer camp.
Well, it's a shame because it's
we had-
sex-free.
Yeah, because my mom would say, "What do you?" Oh my God! Yeah, so we just
I tell you,
we went to the rodeos,
gonna-
and I had the family this whatever. No, I'm not going to
go
go
on.
there.
So
I'm not going to go there again.
You don't want to tell us about the rodeo?
God, this is becoming
You didn't-
therapy. Do you know that?
Well, that's okay. Nothing happened with
I
the
had a
horse,
Reiki
so-
session yesterday, and I
Did
was,
you? That's
yeah.
the levitation.
I,
What were you going to say about the rodeo? Because that's something we haven't discussed on the show ever, I don't believe, the rodeo.
it was great. I competed since I was 5 years old.
Well,
Do you still get to ride?
What
No.
did you do, like
I mean,
bucking
my
bronco?
brother and my sister still have horses, and they,
did you stay on the back of a bucking horse or something?
It was my dad trained barrel racing horses.
What is that exactly?
Do you have a pen?
I do. I have it in my hand.
Well, there.
Use these
those
cocktail glasses. Do the figure
Yes.
eight.
This is radio, though, so no one else except
here,
the
we'll
four of
use-
us can see
yeah,
this.
we'll
so
do
it's-
this. We'll do it this way.
Okay, so
So you have an arena,
okay,
right?
so
And
now
we'll
we have
say-
the glasses arranged here. We
We'll
have
say
a
the
glass
arena is a square
What
that
is
goes
this
over.
drink here?
It's mine.
What? Well,
Looks good,
you're on a
though,
third.
doesn't
You're
it?
going to have a terrible hangover.
L'chaim.
L'chaim, l'chaim.
I got to go to work.
Well, that's the
after
third
this.
type different drink you've had, though.
Back
First
to
of all,
barrel racing.
Okay, put that back where it was supposed to. That was a barrel.
Yeah, you just took the second barrel.
Yeah, that was the second
How can
barrel,
you do
okay.
that? Oh, so
the
here's
martini
here's
glasses.
a timer, a clock. Like
Okay.
here's the arena. The arena is a big square or oval.
Doesn't
And
matter
you
whether
took
it's a
the
square
third
or-
barrel now. You took the third barrel. Third
That was a
barrel goes
martini
here.
glass. Who took that away?
We have
Okay.
three 55-gallon
Okay, so we've
drums.
Forming
drum
a sort of a
barrels. And
triangle here.
yes, and you run. It's a timed event, and you just race, and you race around this way, and you go figure eight, and then you go to the third barrel, and then you
Okay.
come home. Fastest time wins.
So the horses are
So the
taking
horse
a
has
really
to be
tight
able
turn around
to
a 55
turn
gallon
really,
drum.
really tight
And not
around each
fall off
barrel.
and
I
not
don't know
knock
why
over
you
the
had to
barrel,
put all
right?
these glasses on the table to explain that, but
I'm sorry.
so-
What's your
No, that's
record
okay.
time for
It's
3
called
barrels?
a clover leaf pattern.
is it?
The
Okay.
pattern is called a
Clover leaf.
Clover leaf
And what's your
pattern.
record with a clover leaf?
Well, it depends on what arena you're running in.
Oh, okay.
okay,
I guess
so-
there
They're
are
all different.
variables.
They're
So
all
that
different.
sounds like a lot of fun.
I learned a lot about life.
Did you fall off a lot?
I fell off a lot.
Did
A
you
lot.
break anything? Nothing. Bad.
Never broken a bone.
Hey, let's talk about sex again because I read this on the internet.
Oh God.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Here, Rabbi Schiller.
Hold on a second. What's the segue to me exactly?
right?
This is
Creepy religious.
Okay. Well, let's
No, I'm
come.
just kidding.
Let's come back and talk about that in a minute. Then.
I want to learn about Jewish people too.
Do you?
I do.
I think he's moved on.
Sorry.
I heard that. I heard that Jewish guys are good and bad. Is that true?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
Keep drinking, Rabbi L'chaim.
I'm just
social.
I'm just asking.
I'm just thinking back. Oh yeah, there was one. Never mind.
Well, one is not a random sample, really, is it? One is just an anecdote, which doesn't count
Doesn't really count.
qualitatively.
It wa-
Okay, let's have a song. You want to play a song then, and then we're going to come back and talk
I
about
do,
Jews
but
and
you're
sex.
gonna kill me because my guitar. I need to tune my guitar.
Well, we can do that, and Mitch can play a song in the meantime, and the rabbi can sing. It's funny how I call you the rabbi when you have a name, Yonah. I mean, why don't I call you Yonah?
I could talk about my friend, the rabbi.
Talk about your friend, the rabbi.
Let's hear it, Mitch.
Yeah.
I have an unconventional friend, rabbi friend, who's
Just like Yonah.
he has
You're unconventional.
developed a musical instrument based on the shofar, and it's a MIDI shofar, like
The
electronic.
shofar is a ram's
the
horn.
ram's horn.
That is played on what festival is that?
On Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the New Year, the Jewish New Year.
Not on Yom Kippur at the end?
At the end of Yom Kippur as well. But you get this main play on Rosh Hashanah. He is a priest of all priests.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's pretty
So
good.
anyway,
you know a
he's
lot about
turned- he's-
religion.
We do what we can, comrade.
So
He's turned it into like it plays triggers other electronic instruments. Via
What's
the
his name?
shofar with a computer. Rabbi Bob Gluck.
From Los Angeles.
No, he is from. I knew him. I went to college with him, and he's. I think he teaches at Albany State College electronic music, and he's a rabbi and an electronic music teacher.
And he's got an electronic shofar. Well, of all things, the shofar, it's like a ram's horn, and there's no mouthpiece in it or anything.
No,
right? It's just you just blow it.
All natural.
Sometimes they have what looks like a bit of sort of duct tape around the bottom of it.
Yeah, sometimes there's like a little silver sort of sheath on the end of it.
It's not your father's shofar anymore.
Do you have to play that, Yonah, when you do services, or do you have a guy that comes in and does that?
I do know how to do that.
You can do that? You learned that in part of rabbi school?
I can rip the shofar if needed.
Wow. We'll have you back on another show. Maybe we should, over the Jewish holidays, we'll have you back and we'll do a bit of...
Happy to do it.
So,
you can have a few shofar players.
Yeah.
So, Reverend Syke Ward, how do you know about all these different religions?
Well, my family is highly fractured, and when we were growing up, we moved around a lot because of my dad's job. And so one of the things that happened is my mom ran off with the chauffeur, rather.
Okay. Some of that might be true. What?
It unfortunately is very true.
You had a driver.
When we were living in Cairo, yes, my mother ran off with the help, as it were.
Your mom ran off.
I love that story.
She ran off with the Egyptian driver.
She did.
do.
She did. An Egyptian Muslim, 18 years her junior driver.
Wow.
That's interesting because that's one of the worst cities to drive in the whole world.
It sure is.
He must have been a hell of a guy.
I mean, what they always say is that you want to have a second date. Your first date should involve adrenaline. And so when you're driving, a menopausal woman around Cairo in the middle of the day,
and are they still together? Your mom?
No. She divorced him and she married a man from Finland.
Oh, okay. Well,
Wow.
she's moving in sort of in a more icy direction from. Yeah. And what about your dad? Where is he?
He's currently in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, with his New Jersey wife.
And what does he do that he travels all around the world?
He's a diplomat. He
That's
represents
a beautiful
American culture and interest
Really?
abroad.
He's representing us right now as we sit here.
As this moment, sir.
Wow. And what does what body does he work for?
The State Department.
Good God, really? So he's representing us?
But as
How
of this
amazing.
moment, what we're doing right now
He's
is being
saying this
represented
is-
over there. And the reason why I spent so much time in Israel is because his wife was the cultural attaché in Tel Aviv.
The woman from New Jersey.
Right.
She was a cultural attaché, as you said, from America. You mean,
To Israel.
To Israel.
She wasn't from America. She was from New Jersey.
She's from New Jersey. So she works for the State Department
That's
too.
a very important point.
Thank
yes.
you.
Jersey.
She
Yes,
works
they
for the
do.
State Department
Yes,
as well.
she does indeed.
What's the sort of a high-powered political family you come from? And you
I
must
don't
be a
think they're
disgrace
high-powered.
to them.
No, they're all... Rabbi, take me to counseling.
No, I'm
Come,
just
my
kidding
children.
about that.
Therapy.
Come, my children.
You founded a high school here, Reverend Syke Ward.
Well, I'm
you've
part
got
of them.
You're one of the founders. You're the chairman of the board of the International High School, which, by the way, congratulations. I see you're opening a second one in Jefferson Parish.
Actually, that's a feeder school that has been set up by our allies in order to make sure that once they graduate from 8th grade, they join our high school. But yeah, we're the only open enrollment public high school in the world that offers French and Spanish language immersion programs, meaning that they're going to take their classes, their algebra and their physics in French and Spanish in the course of the day. And then they're also going to study Arabic and Mandarin over the course of the day. And so when they graduate, they have taken IB, International Baccalaureate Diploma Program, and gotten college credit from Bard College in upstate New York. So that when these children of New Orleans graduate, they're going to be ready to be the storm birds of the working class. Hello, America, hello. We're ready to take over the world. And they're all starting at the International High School at 727 Carondelet Street in the Central Business District. Thank you.
Wow, very good.
I love that story.
That's,
Thank
you seem just like a crazy guy, but actually...
You're totally crazy.
This is an incredible... This is quite a table of New Orleanians we have here. That's a really serious thing you've done. I mean, it's a serious school with
You should come by and check it out. You could do a show right there. You'd be amazed.
should.
Our kids are quadrilingual.
But these kids are having an opportunity.
I just want to
that-
learn Italian. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, we'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. That was the longest time I've ever heard anyone tuning a guitar, by the way. We had a whole conversation
You know what?
about
I
four
must-
languages,
I must-
3 countries, 2 marriages, and you still only managed to tune those 6 strings.
I'm not going to tell you that the battery died in my tuner. It would have been a lot quicker. But so I'm
Really?
using my ear.
Well,
Which
it was
is,
only the tuner that the battery died, and we're all right. Okay, what is this song, Lynn?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll just take a stab at it then.
Let's take a stab at it. How
Okay.
about we do? I can do this one. It's about New Orleans, sort of.
Yeah.
It's called City Life. I love this city life and the dust and the dust-covered trees. City streets laid out, they glitter like diamonds from somebody's broken window pane. I love this city life and the dust-covered trees. City streets laid out, they glitter like diamonds from somebody's broken window pane. And I guess I'd rather be messed up and pretty. I said I guess I'd rather be messed up than pretty. Just like this city. It's messed up is better than pretty. You know, help me sing that part if you want to.
Okay.
Messed up is better than pretty. Here we go. Messed up is better than pretty. Yeah. One more time. Messed up is better than pretty. Yeah. Gonna move to the country when I'm old. Gonna move to the country when I'm old and gray, and I don't know what to say. I sit at home alone all day. No, don't come around, don't call. Don't come around, don't call. I'm gonna move to the country when I'm old, yo. I'm gonna move to the country when I'm old and gray, and I don't know what to say. I sit at home alone all day. No, don't come around, don't call. Don't come around, don't call. I'm gonna move to the country when I'm old. I'm gonna move to the country when I'm old, when I'm old, when I'm old and gray, yeah.
Pretty, baby.
Come on, yeah. Messed up is better than pretty. Yeah. Messed up is better than pretty. Oh. Messed up is better than pretty. I love this city life. And the dust-covered trees. City streets laid out, they glitter like diamonds from somebody's broken window so much.
Nice job.
Who doesn't like chicks with scars? You know,
I do.
You do not or do
I got
not.
some scars.
You have scars? Lynn Drury, that was lovely.
Thank you so much.
That's a song that's been around for a while too. I've heard you do that one before somewhere or other.
I wrote that, and it probably it's on the latest record. But it's been around.
It's on Sugar on the Floor?
Post Katrina's type song.
Right. That's a more of an upbeat song, even though it's a love song to New Orleans in a sense, right?
Sort of, yeah. Wanting to come home and to be here.
Where were you after Katrina?
I was in Memphis for a year.
Well, that's cool too. Hey, listen, we're running out of time here, so I have to get back to sex for a minute because I did find this on the internet.
That's my favorite subject.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to help you out.
Good.
I did this morning.
Eligible bachelors around here?
Well, yeah, I'm sure someone's listening that's going to be. Can they get in touch with you at lyndrury.com, right?
Lyndrury.com, yes.
Yeah.
For
okay.
dating.
For dating purposes, okay. So this is what, Rabbi Schiller, this is what you said in an interview with, this is like 60 Minutes now.
All right.
Was it some sort of place called Busted Halo or something?
Yeah,
like
I'm
that?
familiar.
Okay. So I don't know whether you really said this, but this is on the internet. I just printed it off. It says, someone's asking you a question, something about some thing or other, and you're saying, in Judaism, we see sexuality as the pinnacle of spiritual expression.
It's true.
Wow.
Ah,
true.
I thought you were going to deny it.
Hence the 3 children. No, it's absolutely true. It's the Jewish way. This is actually pretty radical, but the Jewish way is not to abstain from pleasures of this world, but rather to elevate all of them. And so
All of them?
All of them.
Everything.
Everything.
Every pleasure.
Name one.
Cocaine.
Crack.
Actually,
Y'all are both on
Actually-
the same page, sort of.
Well, that just seems like the most ridiculous one, right?
crack, cocaine. So they're actually in terms of so the root of that is a mind-altering experience, and the truth is that in terms of the tradition of what happened at Mount Sinai, which is when apparently the revelation happened, it said that the people saw the thunder and heard the lightning, which means they were having an out-of-body, altered dimensional experience.
Okay.
And so that's basically the same thing that drugs do. So if you not to say you need crack cocaine to get there, but there is a certain value that's recognized as
I don't believe I've ever heard anyone religious, especially a rabbi, try and link drug abuse to some sort of a spiritual awakening, other than ayahuasca and those things that people in other cultures talk about.
Yeah,
not Judeo-Christian.
Everything exists on the spectrum of abuse to elevating something.
So there's a religious element. There's a religious way you could do cocaine.
I don't know.
Just a couple of lines.
See, I wouldn't
I
say
Yeah,
that.
no.
I wouldn't say that.
But
But I
he-
would say that the desire to elevate yourself out of the consciousness that you normally deal with on a daily basis is a very human instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he draws a very fine line between what is intoxicating and what is elevating. You know, what throws you over the edge and is no longer connective to the rest of the universe is not going to be beneficial to your spiritual evolution. However, the fundamental belief that you can bring yourself to a higher rate of consciousness, now that's the key. I mean, don't forget the first miracle of our first, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. His first miracle was at the wedding of Cana, where he turned water into wine. And don't forget, the only person that God chose to save after the flood was Noah. And what was the first thing Rabbi Noah did after the flood?
He planted vineyards in order to grow. He did.
Well, I didn't know.
This is true.
Did you know that, Lynn, from your
I did
Baptist
not.
upbringing?
And you should
no,
know that.
You left.
they only
You got-
teach you Revelation in Southern Baptist Church.
And in order to sanctify the Sabbath, the first thing you do is you sanctify it over wine. Wine is again, it's not about getting trashed.
No.
But it's
No.
about elevating yourself to the
But
point where
I-
you can
And
recognize.
it's about the
I
fellowship.
recently,
Recognize
I
certain
recently
things.
stopped drinking.
Oh, you can
it's been
always
almost
start
a
again.
year. But I would say, as far as spirituality, it became, when you play in bars and whatever, I think that at some point it will block you spiritually.
Alcohol,
I
as
think
opposed
to excess.
anything,
Absolutely.
any addiction or any excessive sort of thing
Like
can block your
Roberto.
spirit. And
Right.
I mean, for me, it's a spiritual reason that I wanted to be open to the good and the spiritual side again. And I feel like
And it's worked
cutting-
for you.
Yes.
You quit the
Yes.
drinking and the spiritual side is coming back, whereas
I'm becoming more aware.
Rabbi Schiller is saying you could have a couple of drinks and that's better for you.
Yes.
Not that I'm putting words.
No,
in
the
your mouth.
barometer is just your own determination
your
of
own-
what's
Right
good.
on.
What's good.
It's your own, and
You determine what's good.
right.
And you
Okay,
go
so
for
the
that.
Jews say go for it.
Go for the good.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, on that note, I think we can probably all go off into the night here.
Well, hold on a second.
Oh, just a
You
moment.
know what?
Not
I
so
am
fast.
absolutely determined to get this man to give us something at least mildly melodic. We have had this great period of time together. We've never met each other before. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
No,
correct.
that's
You're
correct.
on.
Mitch, is that right? You've never met any of these people except for Grant?
Except for Grant.
No, Mitch
Okay,
and I know
all right,
each other,
cool.
obviously, yes.
How about an understanding that this is a great moment and maybe the Shehekianu?
Gee whiz. First of all, I am not a melodically, vocally.
You can play the shofar, and nobody knows what it's supposed to sound like, so just give it to us anyway.
That's the shofar for you.
Very nice.
Really?
Yeah.
That was.
But then
is
the
that the note we're?
Shehekianu prayer.
Well, the prayer. See, we're gonna get complicated if we get into a prayer because you're not allowed to say a prayer unless you actually
Praying.
Mean it.
praying.
But
It's not entertainment
Well,
here.
then-
son.
Yeah, this is not entertainment.
Yeah,
no,
that's not a
no
joke. We're
messing
not
around.
fucking
no,
around with
no,
God.
no. I was a religion major,
Seriously.
and
Well, that's
you know,
one thing about being a major and studying it in schools. It's another thing about being a rabbi and practicing it.
It's for educational
We could be all
practices.
struck dead.
Then, and I'm going to say to
God's
all of
sake,
your
man.
listeners, they should check out the Shehekianu prayer online.
Okay.
And they should hear it because basically what it says is,
I'll say the second half in Hebrew. So this is the first half you're not allowed to say unless you're actually saying it over something that legitimately desires it. So Shechianu v'higianu v'kimanu l'zman hazeh.
What does that mean? I'm not
So
going to pay a lot for
Shechianu,
that muffler.
we should be renewed. We should be that we've arrived at this time. That we've established this thing at this time.
and that we
That's
are
what
all
you're
blessed
saying.
and grateful for it.
I like that.
Okay. Well, that was a nice way to end it.
Yeah.
There's been a very interesting hour altogether, hasn't it?
Yes.
What a 60
Thank
minutes
you so much.
it's been. Lynn Drury,
Mitch,
thank
Grant.
you.
Thank you.
Rabbi Yonah Schiller, thank you.
My pleasure.
Lynn?
Andrew Wood, thank you for joining us. And on piano, Mitch Foreman. Hey, listen, we're live at the Columns Hotel. If you're coming down to New Orleans, you can come and stay here. It's a great place to stay and a great place to come and have a drink if you're already here in New Orleans. And if you are coming down here and you're listening to this from outside New Orleans somewhere, you need a hotel or a tour or tips on what to do while you're here, check in with our friends at neworleans.com, the official New Orleans travel site. The producer of our show has been Melinda Hawes. Our associate producer is Chris Kehoe. Technical direction has been by Mitch Cry, and our music director is Christian Unruh. Our web designer and our link to the real world is Cliff Brigden. Our theme song was written and is being played currently by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can stay sober or relatively as sober as Andrew Wood for an hour, call us or drop us a line at itsneworleans@gmail.com. Our show is recorded live at the Columns Hotel. You can check out our other happy hours on our website, itsneworleans.com, and our other shows as well, including Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti and Kathy Finn, recorded live at Commander's Palace, and coming soon, Mindset with psychiatrist Dr. Nick Pajic. You can keep up with us by liking us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, and you can subscribe to our podcasts on iTunes. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For Mitch Foreman on piano, I'm Grant Morris. Until next time we meet on Happy Hour. Bye-bye.
Let's be honest, there are tons of ways to send money back home, and every company promises me the same things: good rates and safe transfers. That's why it can be overwhelming to choose a new way to send money. I switched to Remitly because I can track my money every step of the way, which means I know exactly when my mom will get her money. And with their extensive payment network, my mom can receive her money in a way that is more convenient and safe for her. You should check it out. Go to Remitly.com or download their app to get started. Remitly Inc. is a licensed money transmitter by the state of New York, California, Massachusetts, and other states.